Good afternoon, everyone. This is Gail with the Ohio Association of Food Banks. This is the Enhanced OB Tax Counselor Series, and today's webinar has two presenters. One is Susanna Whitty from the Ohio Association of Food Banks. She is the she works here. Excuse me. Excuse me. She's our training coordinator. Okay, I'll get that right in a minute. And we also have Laura from GoDirect, and I'll do more explaining about that a little bit later here. But first, before we get too far down the road, I want to explain a few things. For you who have not been to a webinar this year yet, before we begin, we at the Ohio Association of Food Banks, we have a lot of years of experience with the Ohio Benefit Bank, but there's no way that we are experts in taxes, okay? So if by chance you have a question that we cannot clearly answer, we will research it and follow up with you with the correct information at a later time, okay? Also, before we begin, I want to let everyone know to please feel free to type your questions in the question box. We will go through them at the end of the presentation, and all questions will be answered, okay? But please ask your questions in the question box as we are going along. Remember that there are no bad questions, so make sure if you have one, type it in. I want to review with everyone the mission for the Enhanced OBB Tax Counselor Series, which is to provide information on wraparound services that will make these things readily available to all OBB counselors through the webinar series. So if there's ever anything that you would like to have more fully explained, I think that would be a good topic for the webinar. Please feel free to let me know, okay? All righty. So our presenters today, Susanna Whitty. She is the Training and Site Relations Coordinator for the Ohio Association of Food Banks, and she is going to review with us all the most fabulous updates as far as taxes and the benefit bank. Sorry about that. Okay, and then we have Laura. Laura is from the GoDirect campaign. She's a campaign representative, and she is going to talk to us about GoDirect. So as we begin with Susanna, I first want to launch a poll question. So how many of you know when the e-file date officially opens? Okay, says 75% of you have 77. Okay, great. I am going to close this poll, and it says here that 94% of you who responded know that it opens on January 30th. For you who think that it opens on the 18th and on the 22nd, I think maybe you have not opened up the emails that Susanna has so graciously sent out to everyone. So that's another subject. Please, when we send out the emails, and I'm sure Susanna will probably say the same thing, please open these emails, okay? That would be, and when you open it and then you read it, if it doesn't have anything that pertains to you, no harm, no foul. Just close it, delete it, whatever. But we are sending out emails to keep people updated as quickly as we possibly can on any changes that are happening. So I am going to open this up to Susanna. There you go, Susanna. And Susanna will, there you go.
All right, can you see my screen, Gail?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, great. Well, good afternoon, everyone. As Gail said, my name is Susanna Whitty, and I am the Training and Site Relations Coordinator for the Ohio Benefit Bank program. And today I'll be reviewing information you'll need to know for upcoming tax season. Today I'll be reviewing first important dates, changes to federal tax law, and finally resources and reminders that will assist your work as an OBB tax counselor. First, important dates. E-file will open on January 30th, and the deadline, tax filing deadline, is April 15th. And you may have noticed here that the January 30th date is much later than it has been in previous years, and that's because federal tax legislation was not approved until late last year. And to give the Internal Revenue Service time to program the new laws, they will not be accepting tax returns until Wednesday, January 30th. It's important to mention here that this situation affects all tax filers and all tax filing services. So don't be fooled by other services. A return filed through the benefit bank will get to the IRS at the same time as a return filed anywhere else. And filing your taxes before Wednesday, January 30th will not expedite your return. Even paper returns will not be processed until January 30th. So how does this impact your work as an OBB site? The last week of January is one of the busiest of the season. In the last weekend of January alone, OBB normally submits over 3,000 returns. So recognizing that sites may not have the capacity to roll those returns into February, and that clients may not be willing to wait until January 30th and could turn potentially to rapid refund loans, we are offering the option of pre-filing this tax year. So in order to support benefit bank sites and clients who may be ready to use the benefit bank prior to the January 30th filing date, the benefit bank will allow clients to enter their tax information beginning on January 25th. So between January 25th and January 29th, clients will be able to enter their federal and state tax information into the benefit bank. Clients will not be able to view tax forms or file their taxes until Wednesday, January 30th. So clients who use this pre-filing will need to access their benefit bank account a second time to electronically submit their returns on or after January 30th. Clients can complete their return on or after January 30th in one of three ways. First, they can schedule a follow-up appointment. They could also use the self-serve version of the benefit bank, or they can use the OBB, our hotline, OBB Hotline, to finish over the phone. And I'll review these three follow-up items here on the next couple of slides. But the first option is pretty straightforward. Schedule a follow-up appointment with your client. Appointment times should allow for reviewing and confirming information entered into the benefit bank. Time for the client to review their 1040 and other tax forms and schedules. And finally, time to e-submit the return. The next option is for clients to use the self-serve version of the benefit bank. The login and password that you assisted them in creating can be used on the self-serve version of the benefit bank. To access, clients should visit ohiobenefits.org and click Returning Users. We will have a step-by-step guide for accessing self-serve, and we will be placing that into the Tax Clinic kit by January 21st. But if you do have clients who are comfortable using computers and they're comfortable finishing their return on their own, we're requesting that you print those instructions out and provide them to your clients. The third option, using the OBB Hotline to finish over the phone. Our hotline counselors will record the client's one-time voice permission to access their accounts, and these will remain on our server indefinitely. And we're only offering this on January 30th and January 31st. We do, of course, need to stress here that only the Ohio Association of Food Banks, Ohio's lead agency for the benefit bank, has the right in extraordinary circumstances like these to log in a client by phone with their recorded and stored voice permission. Our hotline counselors will match the client with the site that pre-filed their taxes in every possible instance, so that sites will see the client's return represented in their benefit bank reports. Again, remember please that no OBB site has permission to log in a client over the phone or to keep client logins to finish without the client present. And that is stated in each site's counselor-assisted organization agreement. All right, also due to the late approval of tax legislation, certain tax worksheets will not be ready until late February or early March, and this includes the mortgage interest credit. This affects other credits as well, and you can find a complete list in the link here on this slide. But these clients should wait to file so they don't miss out on these important credits. Moving on here to federal tax changes. On the next couple of slides, I'll review standard deductions, changes to the earned income tax credit, and more. First, the benefit bank income threshold is the same as it was last year. Households with AGIs less than $60,000 may file their 2012 taxes with the benefit bank. Like in other years, there are certain situations in which clients cannot or should not use the benefit bank. And on the next slide, I'll review some common unsupported situations. Unsupported situations include if the client has to make any of the following payments, if the client has business income reported on a Schedule C, if the client has these codes in box 12 of their W-2, and finally if the client has a 1099-B. 1099-Bs were very common last year, especially in areas where fracking was operating. This tax year, the standard deductions have increased slightly. Single or married filing separately is now $5,950. Married filing jointly or qualifying widow or widower is now $11,900. Head of household has increased to $8,700. And finally, there is an increase in the additional amounts for taxpayers who are blind or age 65 and older. EITC, earned income tax credit, income thresholds have increased slightly. I'm not going to read this to you, but just as an example, if you are single with no qualifying children and you make less than $13,660, you could be eligible for the earned income tax credit. The first-time home buyer credit is no longer available in tax year 2012. Although taxpayers who are eligible for this credit in tax years 2009, 10, or 11, they can claim this credit on their return if they file back taxes. Next up is the Savers Credit. This credit was formerly known as the Retirement Savings Contribution Credit. The income limit has increased to $28,750. or $57,500 if married filing jointly, or $43,125 if you're filing as head of household. Up next here, I'll review some updates and also some reminders here. First is the Tax Clinic Kit. This kit contains some absolutely fabulous tools for helping you plan and market your clinic. You'll also find tools for the day of your clinic, including a tax season contact sheet, as well as tax counselor instructions. And you can find that Tax Clinic Kit here. It's pretty easy to remember. It's our website /TaxClinicKit. If you were a tax counselor in previous years and have not completed the refresher course, please do so. The directions are here. Please note that you are accessing the refresher course differently than you have in the past years. You do have to download the scenarios first and then complete the scenarios on the training website. If you'd like to register to attend an in-person training again, or you would like to invite staff or volunteers to complete the tax training, you can access a list and registration links on our website here, trainingreg, short for register.ohiofoodbanks.org. Also a reminder here that those counselors who do not have a tax training date listed or have not completed the refresher will not have access to the tax module. The tax year 2012 guide is complete and up on the Benefit Bank. To access a copy, log into your Benefit Bank account, counselor account. You'll click Training tab and then 2012 Tax Guide. All right. If you do have any questions, we will answer those at the end of the webinar. Just continue to type those as you have them. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Gail. Not sure, Gail, if I have to do something here with my GoToWebinar menu or if you can just take back control.
Okay, great. Thank you. Sorry about that. I had muted myself so I wouldn't bother you. And and then I forgot to mute myself again. Okay, so thank you very much, Susanna. And yes, please do. We have a few questions here, but please make sure that you enter in your questions in the question box, and we will open this up for Q&A once Laura has completed. So now we're going to move right on into Laura. But before we do that, I do have another poll question. And, okay, that's not what I was supposed to do. That's not it. Okay. What happens on March 1st, 2013? Okay, we're coming up on 30 seconds. As soon as we get there, I will close it. And there we go. Well, you guys did very well on this one, Laura. 99%. Click that federal benefit paper checks are being phased out. Of course, there was 1% that liked my answer about Congress will change its mind about the e-file. We know that'll happen, right? So that's just kind of an inside joke there, Laura. So I am going to give you all the power, Laura. So there you go.
Sounds great. Okay, and Gail, can you see this? Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. First off, I do want to thank Gail and the Ohio Benefit Bank for having me present today. It's a great chance to speak with you all. Hopefully some of you have worked with me or some of my colleagues in the past on the GoDirect campaign. But if not, I am going to walk you through the changes to federal benefit delivery, what you need to know as the tax prep season comes up, and then what you can do to get involved. So for a little background, the U.S. Department of the Treasury is phasing out paper checks for federal benefit payments. Instead, monthly benefit payments will be made electronically. So anyone who currently receives a federal benefit check by paper needs to switch over to a form of electronic payment by March 1st, 2013. It's about 45 days away from now. And we work with a lot of tax prep sites across the country. IRS is actually one of our key partners nationally because you're a trusted source of financial information for low-income and older taxpayers. You know, as you're working with people to file their taxes, you're in the perfect position to share this information and get them to switch over and figure out a way, you know, the method of payment that's most comfortable for them. Zooming in on Ohio, there are still more than 186,000 paper checks still being paid each month. As you can see from this graphic here, some of the key areas are the Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati areas, but there are some other key hubs in the areas with a large amount of paper checks still available. And if your county is one of the ones not listed here, that just means it's not in the top 10 highest. If you are interested in the statistics about your county specifically, feel free to get in touch with me. My contact information is at the end of this. I'll share that, and I'd be more than happy to get that information for you. So the federal benefit payments that are impacted are all Social Security Administration payments, which include Social Security and SSI payments, Veterans Affairs payments, Railroad Retirement Board payments, Office of Personnel Management payments, and Department of Labor black lung payments. By and large, the first bullet here is the main population that is still receiving paper checks, and that's, you know, what we would encourage you to focus in on. So the two Treasury-recommended electronic payment options are direct deposit. So anyone with a bank or credit union account can sign up to receive their money by direct deposit, similar to how you may receive your paycheck. That money is just deposited in directly into that checking or savings account every month, consistently on a certain day. The other option for people who may be unbanked or, you know, don't want to receive direct deposit is the Direct Express Debit MasterCard. So this is a low fee or no fee account, low fee or no fee card, and you can use it to get cash back, pay your bills, basically similar to how you would use your debit card. So where you come in and where all of our partners across the country come in is the GoDirect campaign. The GoDirect Public Education Campaign is sort of the marketing and educational arm that works to inform Americans about this change and get people switched over to electronic payments. Since 2005, we have worked to switch more than 7 million people over to direct deposit and more than 2.2 million people over to the Direct Express card. And we work with organizations, like I said before, because you are a trusted voice in your community, and often people who are still receiving checks, you know, are more apt to switch over when they're hearing this information from someone they trust rather than a voice from the U.S. government. As I mentioned earlier, one of the options for electronic payment is the Direct Express card. The Direct Express card is a prepaid debit card designed as a safe, more convenient alternative to paper checks for people who still receive federal benefit payments. Cardholders may use the card to make purchases, pay bills, or get cash at thousands of locations nationwide. There are no sign-up fees, no monthly fees, and no overdraft fees. Some small fees for optional services, such as getting a paper statement by mail, using the card overseas may apply, but by and large, you are able to use this card with incurring no fees. For more information on the card, you can go to the GoDirect informational website, which is www.godirect.org. And unfortunately, one of our main questions, especially from tax prep folks, tax refunds are not accepted on the card at this time. That is an ultimate goal of the U.S. Treasury, but at this time we're still trying to get everyone phased over, all federal benefit recipients phased over, and make sure all of that is settled before we turn our attention to streamlining these payments. So as you're communicating with the people who come to your sites, you may want to just focus on some of these areas. Electronic payments are important because paper checks are vulnerable to weather delays, loss, or theft. You know, one of the key things that we point to is often, which I realize isn't so much of a issue in Ohio, but you know, during hurricane season and during a natural disaster, paper checks can be lost, and individuals who are still receiving that form of payment may go without their benefit check. Also, direct deposit and the direct express card can help protect seniors and others from check theft or fraud. It also gives people more control over their money. There's no need to wait for the mail to arrive. The money is always on time, every time, and can be accessed from virtually anywhere. And then also it's important to note that the Treasury's Department move toward all electronic federal benefit payments will save taxpayers $1 billion over the next 10 years. So moving into specific information for volunteer tax preparation sites, the IRS does support the move toward all electronic federal benefit payments as part of its commitment to asset building programs for taxpayers. As I mentioned before, the IRS is one of our key partners nationally, and we do work with the IRS local offices in Ohio to get this information out. Many taxpayers at VITA and TCE sites receive Social Security or other federal benefit checks. Enrollment options like direct deposit and the direct express card help improve taxpayers' ability to evaluate their financial options. They also help safeguard against check theft and fraud. And then over the past 5 years, hundreds of VITA and TCE sites have participated in the GoDirect campaign. If you're wondering how to get involved, it's very easy. There's a couple suggestions that we make to sort of streamline this information into your activities. One, volunteer preparers can discuss the move to all electronic federal benefit payments, urging people to switch over to direct deposit or the direct express card. I'm sorry? Oh,
I'm on mute.
And then help them sign up on site. Intake volunteers can flag check recipients and encourage them to talk with a designated point person during quality review. Volunteers can share campaign materials with taxpayers on site, and sites can show a GoDirect video in the waiting area. I mentioned materials in that last slide, and there are free materials available. The Treasury does make these educational materials available free of charge, and if you go to the website, www.godirect.org, you can order materials. Materials that are available are flyers. You can order any quantity of these to fit your best needs. You can use these at events, put them in packets, any informational tables you might have. We also have posters available. We also have talking points and FAQ sheets for people who may be making presentations or workshops or meetings. And then lastly, we do have a volunteer guide that you can distribute to your volunteers. That way it kind of arms them with the information they need if they do get any direct questions from the people they're helping. To order materials for your site, go to www.godirect.org and access the Volunteer Tax Prep Toolkit. You can also preview the materials we have available, including the flyers, posters, and videos. You can also submit the material order form. That'll go directly to me, and I will help you get those materials out. Otherwise, you can also contact me directly. I'm also happy to answer any questions you may have specifically about your local area or any of the materials we do have available. My contact information is below, and my phone number is 312-988-2448. And when it comes to getting people switched over, this is what you do. You can go to www.godirect.org. There is an enrollment site, an enrollment link clearly listed on the website. You can also call the toll-free line 1-800-333-1795. You can also have them contact their local federal benefit agency if they do have any specific questions. Otherwise, local banks and credit unions are also happy to get them switched over for direct deposit. Again, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me today. If you do have any questions, here's my contact information again. Please feel free to reach out to me directly. I am more than happy to help you. And thanks again for helping to get all of the federal benefit recipients switched over to electronic payments by March 1st of this year.
Well, great. Well, thank you very much, Laura. I have put on my screen here that you should be able to see in the next few minutes. Maybe. Yeah. The GoDirect website. Can everybody see that? Laura?
Yep,
Susanna?
you can see it.
Okay, great.
And then, Gail, actually, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to show people how to order materials. If you hover over Partners on the toolbar, all the way down, if you click on Order Materials,
there we go.
And then if you, those are previews of some of the materials we do have available. Then if there's the order form right here. We do have some suggested quantities listed for some of the materials, but that is just a suggested quantity. If you do need more, that's no problem. Please feel free to order over that suggested quantity. And then if you would like a public service announcement DVD, contact me directly.
Okay. Yeah, because when I placed my order for the February 2nd event here in Franklin County, I did ask for more of these, but Laura knew.
Yeah. Again, that's just a suggested quantity, and we understand that some sites do receive significant traffic, and we want to make sure you have whatever you need. And like I said, these are all free materials, and they will be shipped to you free of charge.
Okay. Now, Laura, where do we go if I have a client in front of me and they want to, they need to do the Direct Express card?
For more information on the Direct Express card, there's actually a specific Direct Express card website. It is US.
Is it www?
Yep.
Okay.
US directexpress.com. And so this is where you go with the Direct Express, for the Direct Express card. Also, this website can show you, if you look at the very bottom, there's an ATM locator. There is a nationwide network of ATMs. All of these are this is our nationwide network. Any ATM that displays any of these logos will allow any Direct Express card user to access money free of charge with no fees.
Great. Yeah, so if you're here, all you need to do, and this does work very quickly. I've had to use it a couple of times. That's the reason why it was in my browser. You can sign someone up for a Direct Express card if they are not banked and they do need to have a debit card. Okay, great. Well, thank you very much, Laura.
Thank you so much, Gail.
Let's get to the Q&A. And we have quite a few questions here. So, Sarah, you asked a question about the updated training. I'm going to give that to Susanna and let her answer that to you offline, okay? Because that might be something that she might have to go into the computer to work with. Sarah has a question, Susanna. She wants to know, when you were talking about the early submissions, how does that affect numbers for organization if someone pre-files with a counselor but submits online through self-serve?
Great question. I'm going to have to look more in depth into this, but I'm thinking that it will appear as a client served, but you won't get credit for the e-file itself. So the EITC numbers and the refund amount because they filed on self-serve. Does that make sense, Gail?
Yeah.
Okay. But
yeah, we might want to take a look at that because maybe she can give them her link, her e-file link for them to use.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. You mean the self-serve link?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we might want to check into that, but yes, that's a good question there. Okay, so, and then we had a question here. Laura, Randy would like for you to repeat your phone number again.
Sure. My phone number is 312-988-2448.
Okay. Okay, I sent that out to everybody. Let's see. John Marsh. John, you asked this question. I might need for you to kind of give me a little bit more detail on this, but the question is, under payment penalty is automatically calculated and billed back by IRS. Are you asking, are the penalties automatically calculated by the IRS and billed back to the customer? And I don't know if I would even know the answer to that or not. I am assuming so, but I don't want to say that definitely. Do you know, Susanna?
Not at all.
Okay.
Sorry.
We're probably going to have to get back with you on that one. And then Jody wants to know, why doesn't the card accept tax refunds? And I think this is to you, Laura.
Yep. At this point, the card, as we were focused, when the Treasury partnered with Comerica Bank, which is the bank that facilitates the card, it was just focused on federal benefits. That was really all that was kind of negotiated during that process. Tax refunds were not included in that. Like I said, it is a long-term goal for the Treasury to get federal benefits, tax refunds streamlined onto that card as well, or at least get that option available. But I don't have any more information on that at this time.
Okay. Tyrone, you want to know when the next tax training session for Hamilton County is? The best place for you to get that information is at www.ohiobenefits.
It's trainingreg.ohiofoodbanks.org.
Okay, what is it?
Trainingreg, it's short for register, reg.ohiofoodbanks.org.
Okay, so I'm sending that out to everybody, and then you can find your county. Yvette says, just to be clear, you will still be able to get a tax refund paper check after March 1st. Yes, that is true. This has, what Laura is talking about are public benefits, not your refund. But please know that, and the IRS has not given a deadline, but I do know that at one point they were looking at 2014 being the last time that you could ever do a check. Okay, so you might want to, if you have clients that are still getting checks, you may want to have that conversation with them. Okay, next question is, how does a client sign up for the Bank of America debit card for tax refund? I don't know about the Bank of America debit card, Rhonda, but I do know that we do have a relationship with the CFR card. We've held several webinars on that. So if any of you on this line are interested in it, I need for you to email me today. I will send you the recorded webinar and the contact information of the woman that you need to contact. Okay? And that needs to happen quickly because you're going to need time to be able to sign your site up to be able to offer this prepaid debit card. The reason why we chose at the food bank, the reason why we have chosen to partner with CFR is because this card has no fees at all as long as you use it inside of, you don't break the rules, which means you don't go to an ATM and try to withdraw money from, okay? And all of those rules and everything are all in the webinar, and there's documentation for it. So if you're interested in offering that card, I really need for you to email me today. I'm going to put my email address at Ohio Food Banks. Oh, spelled bank wrong. .org. This is my email address. Please send me an email requesting the information about the debit card. Okay. Let's see. Laura, this is for you. It says when an individual is entitled to benefits from Social Security for the first time, will he first receive a check or will he receive the card?
All new enrollees were actually required to automatically choose a form of electronic payment as of May 1st, 2011. In rare cases, I've heard that SSA is still allowing some paper checks to come through the system, but by and large, all new enrollees receiving payments for the first time will automatically have to choose an electronic form of payment.
Okay. Let's see. I think that may be about it. Oh, this is for you, Susanna. James here, fabulous counselor. He is a counselor at 2 sites, and he has 2 different login names. He wants to know, does he have to do the update on both login names, or can he do the update on one and it will automatically update both of his login names?
Well, I think as long as you complete the survey, and that link is on the one slide I had in my PowerPoint regarding the refresher course, as long as you complete the survey, there shouldn't be any problem there with it reflecting on both accounts.
Okay. James also wanted to know, Laura, from you, how long after the application can a client expect to receive their GoDirect card?
That can vary, but typically within 1 to 2 months. They may still receive, depending on when the application is filed, they still may receive one payment via paper check, but like I said, they should receive it in a month or 2.
Okay. Ms. Woods, I see here you have a couple of questions. One is, what is the anticipated date of return of refunds using the OBB? Okay, the anticipated for everybody, not just people using OBB, doesn't matter if you use TaxWise or TurboTax or whatever. I just went on the IRS website.
Mm-hmm.
They are projecting 10 to 21 days. Okay?
Oh my.
I know. That does us no favors, right? 10 to 21 days. They have also not published their cycle schedule. You know how we always put up the IRS's cycle schedule so that when you're sitting with a client, you can give them a projected date of when the check might come in the mail. I think they would have it. So once that is actually published and we get it onto the toolkit, you'll have a better idea. But right now, because when I saw your question come up, I went online to the IRS website just to check it out, and it said on there that their projected time is 10 to 21 days. So, let's see.
I'm sorry, Gail, was that for direct deposit, Gail? Or for paper checks?
I'm not exactly sure. It did not say either or. It just when I pushed the link to go to the cycle, it said that it wasn't ready, and then it just gave like a nondescript answer.
Gotcha.
Refunds are expected in 10 to 21 days. Yeah, okay. But I think we would have a better idea once that's actually published. And speaking of things being published, Susanna did, and we thank you very much. She contacted Solutions this morning. I know many of you have contacted me either by smoke signals or phone or email to ask me about the forms being updated. Like the checkoff forms or the checkoff forms for your clients. Solutions did send an email back to Susanna and I to let us know that as soon as the IRS has everything updated, they will update their list. So I have a feeling not much is going to get updated till like 12 midnight on the 29th. What do you think, Susanna?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So, but as soon as it is, Susanna will send out an email to everybody. Just make sure you open your emails, okay? Okay. It says here, Laura, what will happen if an elderly client hasn't gotten around to switching to an electronic payment?
Anyone 90 years of age or older as of May 1st, 2011 is eligible to receive paper checks. So anyone, that's about a year and a half ago. For anyone who's still receiving a paper check as of March 1st, 2013, the Treasury will then go into compliance mode. We kind of say we're in education mode right now, trying to educate people and get them to switch over voluntarily. As of March, we're going to go into compliance mode, and then Treasury will begin contacting individuals by mail to discuss the specific options available and to determine what the best option is for them. I do want to note that the Treasury will never contact any federal benefit recipient by phone. It's important to note that. That's just something I want to make clear to all of you, just to help make sure that no one just to prevent fraud and to make sure that no one is being scammed. All contact will be happening by mail.
Okay, and they're not going to send out emails either?
No, it will all be happening by paper mail.
Okay. Okay, that's a good thing to know. Okay, so Barb has a couple questions here. Says, will we get our local links to provide to others for self-serve? Barb, I need for you to contact your regional coordinator. The self-serve links for each site was sent out last tax season. Isn't that correct, Susanna? Or was it tax season before
I think
last?
the best way to find your self-serve link is to log into your account and click View Organizations. And when you click on your organization, your self-serve link should be there. It'll say self-serve URL or something like that.
Thank you. I completely forgot about that.
No problem.
Or you can always call your regional coordinator.
Yeah, they'll help you out for sure.
Yes. excuse me. And then Barbara also wanted to know about PSAs in your local stations. In the tax clinic toolkit are PSAs. Okay, they're recorded. They are absolutely fabulous. Now, with that being said, they are on the tax clinic toolkit so that the tax counselors in their local areas, in their counties, can take them to your local paper or to your local television station. The reason why this has to be done at a local level is that I can send out these PSAs to all these local stations. Let's say I send one to Lawrence County. They have no clue who I am. They have no clue if this is something that is important to the community in Lawrence County. If the community action from Lawrence County or the Homeless Association in Lawrence County goes to the TV stations and the radio stations in that county and tells them that this is something that we want to have out in the community, at that point, that channel or that radio station is more than likely to put that up, okay? They're not real likely to put it up if we send it from here. So that's the reason why it is on so that is the reason why it is on the toolkit. So please, everybody, open up your toolkit. I'm going to send out the email, not the web address, .org/ what is that called, Susanna? Is it Tax Toolkit? Susanna?
Sorry about that. It's
okay.
Tax Clinic Kit.
It's called the what?
ohiobenefits.org/tax clinic kit.
Okay. Okay. So I have just sent that out to everybody in your question box. So make sure you go there, look at everything that's in that clinic kit. So Barb, you are in Hocking County. Yeah, just either take a copy of it or email a copy of it. Doesn't matter. Oh, you're Hancock County. Okay. All righty then. I think that's all of the questions. Did anyone else have any other questions before I'm through? Great then. Well, this was a great session. It is now 12:54. I want to say thank you to everyone for attending. And I want to say very much special thank you to Susanna Whitty and to Laura who were here today to present to you guys about two fabulous programs that will be coming up. Well, number one, Tax Updates, and then GoDirect. So if there are no more questions, I'm going to sign off. And everyone, please have a good afternoon.